I'm Jacob Courtright, and this is The Locker Room. Welcome into The Locker Room. On today's episode, we go over the Tennessee Titans schedule, winners and losers of the AFC South. Andy Dalton is now a Dallas Cowboy, and what does that mean for Dax Prescott? College football decides to move forward without any fans. UFC 249 packs a punch. Here we go. All right, starting off, we are going to go right to the Tennessee Titans schedule. This is one of my favorite segments to do. I love being able to look at the Titans schedule and decide where I think they're going to fall this year. The AFC South is to be reckoned with. You have three very good teams in this division: the Colts, the Titans, and the Houston Texans. Hey, somebody's going to have to travel up to Baltimore and play Lamar Jackson and his Baltimore Ravens, who I have as my Super Bowl winners this year. The Ravens addressed every single issue that they had in the offseason. They added to the defense in Derek Wolfe. They added to the defense in Calais Campbell. They added to the defense in linebacker Queen. They added to the offense with J.K. Dobbins. My goodness gracious. This is going to be a crazy year for the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm pumped, man. I'm excited. As a Titans fan, I'm excited to watch the Ravens. We will never see a unique running offense like this the rest of our lives. I can guarantee you that. Because there will never be a runner of the football like Lamar Jackson. Never. I've never seen anybody this talented as a quarterback. From his insanely quick feet to his lateral quickness, he runs like a wide receiver in open space. He runs like a running back in closed spaces. Lamar Jackson is an electric player, the most electric runner of the football, well over Michael Vick already in his career. It's terrifying. I am terrified to see that Ravens offense. Also, Lamar Jackson plays a lot better when he has that chip on his shoulder attitude. So, you give Lamar Jackson that attitude of, I just lost in the AFC Championship. I'm sorry, Titans, I hope we get back to that AFC Championship, but the Ravens are winning it all this year. And I'm not a gambling man, but I have thought about putting a few dollars on this Ravens Championship. Don't get me wrong. Now, no one tell my fiance, because I don't think she would like that I got some money shoved aside. But if we're being honest, it's not like my fiance is going to listen to this podcast anyways. So, sorry, dear, but I might be putting some cash down on these Ravens this year. That's how much I trust the Ravens. For Jacob Courtright to bet anything, I've got to have almost a surefire plan that they're going to win. But let's go ahead and move on to the Tennessee Titans in their opening day schedule. Titans at the Denver Broncos. Winner, the Titans. If this was 7 weeks in, I would be worried. Honestly, the only thing I'm really worried about is Jarrell Casey playing out of his mind just because he's kind of PO'd at the Titans for letting him go for 7th round pick. Which, don't get me started on that. I think we could have held on to Jarrell Casey. I do realize he was a little bit expensive, but at the end of the day, go ahead and kick Butler out of there and keep Jarrell Casey. You could have gotten a 7th round pick for Butler. But Jarrell Casey is the only kind of X factor that I really see game one of him making an impact. But I don't know that he's going to make a big enough impact on the defensive line, and that defense is going to make a big enough impact to where it's going to really affect the Titans winning this game. Denver's offense in 6 to 7 weeks into the season will be scary good. If Drew can play like he did last year for the Denver Broncos, he has that swagger, he has that attitude, all these young guys around him, the Denver Broncos offense is going to be great this year. They might be a top 5 offense by the end of the year. So you got Drew Lock, Jerry Jeudy now that you just added to the offense. You've got Sutton on the offense. Hamler, I think, from Penn State. I think that's his name. You just added him on the wide receiver core as well. I mean, the Denver Broncos offense by the end of the year is going to be a top 5 offense in the league. You also got Gordon in the backfield now. So it's going to be scary. It's going to be scary. But definitely week 1, Titans are well seasoned. We're returning just about everybody. Our defense got a little bit better. Definitely Titans got game 1. Week 2, the Jacksonville Jaguars are at the Tennessee Titans. Titans, hands down. This is going to be the first year in a long time that the Titans sweep the Jacksonville Jaguars. Not even going to be close this year. This might be a game where Derrick Henry sits out in the fourth quarter. I don't care if it's an in-game rival. I don't care that Jacksonville beefed up their defense a little bit. The Jacksonville Jaguars, I do not see them above 500 this year. They've got too many missing pieces. Way too many missing pieces. Titans, hands down, week 2. So congratulations, 2-0 to start the season, Tennessee Titans. Titans at Minnesota. Tennessee Titans. We play better on the road. Vikings have a very good squad this year. Added Justin Jefferson to the offensive side of the ball. Dalvin Cook is healthy and showed that he's a top 3 back in the entire NFL last year. But I don't trust choke artist Cousins. Every time Kirk Cousins goes against a team that is above 500 or that is a semi-decent team, choke artist Cousins decides to play like trash. I've never seen a quarterback play so well when it's like when no one's looking, he plays great, but he can't deal with any of the pressure of a primetime big game. We just went to the AFC Championship, so that's a pretty big game. Minnesota, if Kirk Cousins didn't choke all the time, Minnesota would run away with that division this year. For sure. No real weakness on defense. Offense is absolutely stacked with Adam Thielen being healthy, added Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook. I mean, come on. But choke artist Cousins, gonna choke again against the Tennessee Titans. Titans definitely take Minnesota. Now we've got a very interesting stretch here for the Titans. We have a 2-game stretch with 2 very good teams. Pittsburgh Steelers at the Tennessee Titans and Buffalo at the Tennessee Titans. 2 home games, but you're playing 2 very good opponents. So game 1 against the Pittsburgh Steelers, I've got the Steelers. I think Big Ben's going to have a very good year this year. Their offense is pretty darn good. We struggle with receivers like Juju Smith-Schuster, someone that is a very physical receiver that can go up and get the ball. That's the reason we had so much trouble with Houston. DeAndre Hopkins is the one that ate us alive. It wasn't Kendall Fuller. It was DeAndre Hopkins. So I think a healthy Ben in that offense. I think a very good defense in the Pittsburgh Steelers. They come to Nashville and they take it. It's just one of those very early games where you're going to be we're tested very early in the season, and I think we get better as the season goes on. We usually do that. Derrick Henry tends to start evolving and start becoming Derrick Henry 5-6 games in. So this is a very tough test to go ahead and start off this stretch with, and I've got a loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it doesn't really get any better because I have the Titans also losing to Buffalo at home. Back-to-back losses for the Titans here. Buffalo always gives the Tennessee Titans fits, and they just got a whole lot better on offense. You just added Diggs, which is another problem wide receiver for the Tennessee Titans. Moss is now in the backfield with Singletary. Allen has continued to improve like crazy every year. You also have Brown on the wide receiving core. You have a defense that is going to be rivaling the second or third best defense in the entire league. I've got Buffalo taking this game. I was at the last Buffalo-Tennessee Titans games, and I'm going to say this, for all you Buffalo fans, you all are nightmares. I mean, good grief, you all walk around acting like you've won a Super Bowl the last 5 years. The last time you guys were here in Tennessee, my goodness. In Tennessee, for those of you who have not been down here, we show Southern hospitality, even when other teams are here. I've sat at a bar and drank with Ravens fans. I've sat at a bar and drank with Steelers fans. I've sat at a bar and drank with Bears fans. And I used to think Green Bay was the most insufferable crowd, but good grief, Buffalo. I almost got into a fight the last 2 times you've been down here. But, don't get me wrong, Buffalo's had our number. They gave it to us pretty good last time we played them. So, Buffalo, I got them winning here. Back-to-back losses for the Titans. But you'll be excited. The Houston Texans at Tennessee. I got Titans. Houston is not what they used to be. Brandon Cooks is nowhere near what DeAndre Hopkins is. And I don't really think that the Houston Texans realize what a damaged hit that's going to be. I don't think they really realize that the last couple times they've played us, the only person that single-handedly beat us was not Deshaun Watson. We did a good job of keeping him in the pocket. It was Deshaun Watson scrambling and then chucking it up to DeAndre Hopkins. Houston with no Hopkins, Titans definitely take this game. This is the year the Titans really climb out from behind the Houston Texans' shadow. I think last year we made a great statement, beating them the last game of the year in order to get into the playoffs. But I think this is the year we take over that Houston Texans spot and really become a driver in the AFC South. So, good bounce back win here for the Titans. Now we make it down to Week 7. Tennessee Titans definitely take this one for sure. The bye week has nothing against us. They don't have anything for our running game, don't have anything for Tannehill. Dominate this week. Titans definitely take Week 7. And yes, for those of you who did not listen, I just said bye week, which means that we are off that weekend. And the only other team that knows how to lose during bye weeks is the Cleveland Browns. So we don't have to really worry about that. Let's get back to action in week number 8. Tennessee Titans at the Cincinnati Bengals. It's going to be a close one. But I've got the Titans. And I'm being sarcastic. I don't think it's going to be that close. Now, I do think the Cincinnati Bengals, this far into the season, are going to be a pretty decent team. I think they're going to start getting some repertoire with Burrow in shotgun back there, tossing balls to A.J. Green and Tyler Boyd and John Ross, and Higgins is going to get involved. So I don't think Cincinnati's going to be a complete rollover like I think Jacksonville will be. They'll be decent. They'll score some points. You know, I think it's going to be more of a 21 to 32 type of game. We'll probably win by 2 touchdowns. But Titans start off this, after the bye week, they're going to start off strong. Definitely winning against Cincinnati. And then Bears at the Titans. I'm going to go ahead and take the Titans here. Now, not only is this hard for me because I love the Bears and I love the Titans, but the Bears are one of those, what I call 50-50 teams. The Bears are one of those teams that, based on their quarterback play, the Bears are in Super Bowl contender position with that defense. If Nick Foles can come in there and play halfway like he played in Philly, it will be better than Trubisky, and the Bears are going to be a very hard team to beat, especially with that defense. This Bears-Titans game is no pushover for the Titans. The Titans have a lot of games on this schedule this year that are very 50-50 for me. Like the Buffalo game, I think it's very 50-50. The Titans could win or lose that one. The Bears is another one of those. It's a very 50-50 chance for me. Bears is all about quarterback play. That's all it's going to be. Nick Foles can run Matt Nagy's system efficiently like he did in Philly. He works well with coaches that like to play a little bit more up-tempo, a little bit quicker passes, shorter routes, dump it off to the back a bunch. If Nick Foles can just do that, this is one of those 50-50 games. I'm going to go ahead and put the Titans in all my 50-50 games just because I do shoot this podcast in Nashville and I don't want to disappoint my fan base here. So I'm going to have Titans over the Bears, even though this was a very hard decision for me. But definitely a very close game, a very 50-50 game. It's going to come down to the last few plays of that fourth quarter. Great game. I can't wait for that game. I'm actually going to be at that game and doing commentary on it. So very excited about that. Just found that out as well. So Titans, after the bye week, get 2 wins in a row. And then the Colts come to Tennessee. I've got the Colts at home. We don't play the Colts very well at Tennessee. We saw that last year when the Colts dismantled us at Tennessee. A very winnable game for the Tennessee Titans last year. But we, for some reason, when it comes to the Colts, we do not play well when it's at our house. For some reason, we enjoy the big upsets at their home games. I mean, look at all the Titans' performances in the playoffs last year. What did we do when we met the Baltimore Ravens? I mean, when we travel, the Titans are a very good traveling team. We're very 50-50 at home, but on the road, we are a very good team. But Colts coming in, I don't have us winning that one. It doesn't really get much better because right after the Colts beat us at home, I've got us losing to the Baltimore Ravens. The Titans at Ravens, I think the Ravens beat us by 30 to 40 points. Now, of course, like I always do,